guys, it's your girl Tara coming to you from thecraftsurgeons.com. Thanks for joining me today for another video tutorial. So today I have something really special for you guys. So I have been honored to be a part of a design team called the Simple Sweet Stampers. And this design team is comprised of, I think it's like it's a total of 8 of us. I thought it was 9. 8 or 9 other Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrators who every single month we come together and we create some beautiful projects using suites out of our 2019 Occasions catalog. So what happens is, as we submit our projects, we compile them all into this really awesome project PDF. So you can get this PDF by placing a purchase of any amount in my online store, or you can purchase the PDF outright, and you can find that all the details of that will be in the description down below. But there is a spot on my website, thecraftsurgeons.com, where you can place a purchase for the PDFs. All right, so this actually started in February, which was last month, and now we're into March. And I wanted to share with you guys the project that I created in this PDF, which is really awesome. Okay. So this is initially how the PDF looks, and for the month of March, our focus was on the Happiness Blooms suite of products, but we can use anything from the first page of that suite up to the next suite. So with that, I decided to kind of do a mashup because I actually don't have the Happiness Blooms stamp set, but I do have the designer series paper. And I did have the enamel shapes, but I ran out. So I'm gonna have to remix. I'm gonna show you guys an easy way to create your own enamel shapes in the event that you don't have the appropriate colors. But in the description box below, I'll have all of the details listed on what I used on my original project. Now, the original project, I can't show it to you right now because I don't know what I did with it. But I have a photo and I have the instructions right here beside me, so I'm going to share with you what I used to create this project and how I'm going to create it. So starting out for this, I wanted to really focus on the color combination in the designer series paper, as you can see here. So this is the Happiness Blooms designer series paper, and let me grab my catalog real quick. All right, so as you can see here, this is the Happiness Blooms suite. It can be found on pages 24 and 25 of the Occasions catalog. And this is the paper that I'm using. It's Happiness Blooms designer series paper. You get a total of 12 sheets. You get 2 each of 6 double-sided designs, and it's 12 by 12, which is some really gorgeous paper. And here are the Happiness Blooms enamel dots, the ones that I ran out of, but I'm going to show you guys how I am going to remix my dots for this project. Okay, I'm also using the Amazing Life stamp set because I really love this stamp set, and I thought it would be really awesome to use it in conjunction with showcasing this gorgeous paper. So as you can see, the colors that I'm using in this paper are Call Me Clover, we have Night of Navy, and then we have Pineapple Punch. So that is going to be the color scheme for this card. So I wanted the designer series paper in that suite to be the main focus. All right. So now that you know what stamp set we're going to use, I'm going to go ahead and tell you all of the other products like cardstock. So starting out, you're going to need a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. This measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. You'll also need a piece of Night of Navy that measures 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. The designer series piece measures 3 3/4 inch by 5. The Pineapple Punch piece measures at 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. And then I have a piece of Whisper White that measures 2 3/4 inch by 4 inches. You're also going to need a piece of scrap Night of Navy, and you're also going to need a scrap piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to show you what you're going to use those for in a few. All right, so you're going to need the following inks. You're going to need Night of Navy ink, And then I'm also going to be using some of, doing some heat embossing on this project. So you're going to need Versamark. So of course I'm using my Versamark with my little embossing buddy. And then I have my white emboss powder here. We're going to be also doing a little bit of Stampin' Blend coloring because we're going to use the So Happy to Have You in My Life stamp out of this. So I want to create an ombre effect in the word happy. So I'm using the following colors. I'm using Pool Party, Night of Navy, and I'm also going to be using Old Olive and my color lifter. For adhesives, you're going to need snail and dimensionals. And I think that's basically it right now. So other than using your normal tools like your Stampin' Trimmer and your heat gun, let's go ahead and get started with creating this card. All right, so starting out, I'm going to use my Stamparatus for this because I always love using my Stamparatus when I'm using a pretty decently sized image, because in the event that I don't stamp this correctly, I always want to make sure that I can go back over it with my ink, which is the perk of having the Stamparatus tool. It's a stamp positioning tool that allows you to stamp repeatedly in the same spot over and over again. And it also helps to streamline the process when you have multiple projects as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my So Happy stamp here on my piece of Whisper White. And underneath, I do have my foam mat that comes with the Stamparatus. Because this is photopolymer, you're going to need that extra layer in order to get a even coverage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to make sure that my paper doesn't move. So I'm going to probably grab my other stamp real quick. Excuse me, my other magnet. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to take, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to take my Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to ink my stamp up. Just like this. Looking good. And then I am going to just stamp it down just like so. I love the Stamparatus. There we go. It's perfect, actually. Really, really pretty. All right, so we're going to take this off and put this to the side. All right, so while that's drying a little bit, because it does, my ink pad is a little juicy, so I'm going to just sit that to the side for now and let it dry. But while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and assemble my card base. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to crease on this score line here. I'm going to take some of my Snell adhesive, and I'm going to attach my piece of pineapple punch cardstock onto my card base. Try to line this up. Okay. Then I'm going to take my piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to line that up as well, just like that. Gorgeous. And then I'm going to take my dimensionals, and I'm going to apply it to the back side of my piece of Night of Navy. And I'm going to even this up just like this. All right, looking good so far. All right, so let's go ahead and do some additional stamping while we're still waiting for that big image to dry. It looks like it's about done. So I'm going to take my little flower here, and we're going to ink this little guy up in our Night of Navy as well. And I'm going to grab my mats. And what we're going to do is we're going to just stamp 2 flowers onto our scrap piece, just like that. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of blend coloring. So as those flowers are drying, we're going to go ahead and create our ombre effect using our Stampin' blends. So all right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece right here and I'm going to attach it to my card base. Just like so. Go. All right, so now we're going to do our leaves. Like that. And then I'm going to come in with my lights and blend it out. All right, and so for the center of my flowers, I'm going to take my light Night of Navy, and I'm going to color in the center. And then I'm going to take my Pool Party, the dark. Now come in those petals and color them. And blend that blue in. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out our flowers. All right, so now that we've cut out our flowers, now let's go ahead and take our scrap piece of Night of Navy and we're going to do our heat embossing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our embossing buddy and we're going to just powder up the area where we're going to stamp our Versamark. So I'm going to take my piece of scrap paper here, and then I'm going to ink up the stamp, the So Happy to Have You in My Life stamp with Versamark. And I'm going to stamp on this piece of Night of Navy, just like that. All right, so I'm only inking it up, making sure that it's inked up enough where you see the banner part, okay? Because that's the part that I really want. All right, so once you're done with that, we're gonna sprinkle some powder on this banner piece. All right, so I'm going to hit this with my heat tool and I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. It's all nice and shiny and embossed. How pretty is that? So now what we're going to do is we are going to cut out this banner. All right, so there you go. So I cut out the To Have You in My banner. And then as you notice here, I did cut out the part of that L because when you look on our card here, this piece, you'll be able to see it through underneath it, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take some dimensionals. I may need my smaller dimensionals, yeah. We're going to take some mini dimensionals for this little guy. put about 3 of them on there. And then we're going to place this little guy right here on top of the banner piece that we stamped originally. Just like that. It gives it this really cool 3D popped up effect. Isn't that awesome? All right, and then we're going to take our flowers and we're going to add some dimensionals to those little guys as well. And then one of them is going to go in this corner. And the other little guy is going to go down here in this corner. Actually, you know what? I don't want the dimensionals. I changed my mind. I don't want the dimensionals. I am going to take a little bit snail. I'm going to apply one here. And apply one of the flowers here. Just like that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, since I don't have my enamel shapes, I am going to try to figure out how to create some without having them, right? So when I look at my stash, I do have, you can use rhinestones or pearls. But when I look at my stash, I have some, what are these? Some glitter clear epoxy shapes. They're actually circles. This is actually a retired item. This was in our last year's occasions catalog, and I'm surprised that it didn't carry over. We do have the hearts, as you can see here. But like I said, you can use some rhinestones in its place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Blend marker, and these markers are great for coloring different kinds of accents to the color that you want them. So I'm just going to color 2 of these little circles in. This can also work with the hearts. It can work with the any of our other enamel shapes, or our pearls, or our rhinestones. And as you can see, I just created some Night of Navy epoxy shapes. But like I said, I'll have them linked down, the actual shapes linked down in the description box below. All right, so we're going to take these shapes and we're just going to stick them right here in the center. All right, last but not least, I'm going to take some of my Wink Stella and I'm going to color in these flowers because I think a little bit of sparkle is what will set this card on top. Just like that. All right, and there's the beautiful card that I created for our Simple Sweet Stampers March project using the Happiness Blooms Designer Series paper as the focal point. All right, so look how adorable this is. Isn't that cute? I'm really proud with how this card came out. So be on the lookout because this is for March. There is going to be another PDF coming out next month using another suite of products in our 2019 Occasions catalog. And it'll be for April. So I'm really excited to share with you guys what project I create for that. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. You can find all of the information pertaining to all of the products that I used on this project today down in the description box. I'll even have a link that'll take you to my website, thecraftsergeant.com, where you can see additional photos of the card along with more information on how you can get the Simple Sweet Stampers March 2019 Happiness Blooms PDF that has 9 exclusive projects created by other demonstrators as well. So also don't forget to subscribe to my channel in order to stay up to date on all things Stampin' Up. and to receive notifications of all of my uploaded video tutorials. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for joining me today, y'all. That's all I got. So see you next time. Thanks for watching, and happy stamping.